Many athletes nowadays struggle to balance out the heavy weight between school and the sport that they participate in. Many people will say that athletes should be on the honor roll in order to play sports. But me being someone who plays sports, think that is going a little too far with the academics. People who do not play high school or collegiate sports do not know how difficult it is to devote yourself to school and then your extra time into doing schoolwork. It is hard weight to balance, and some people do their best but cannot come up on the honor roll. As a student athlete, I find it difficult to make straight A's. Making this rule would in fact take a lot away from many kids who have great things going for them. I do not think that this rule should be put in place, but instead put in effects that will help these students, such as tutoring, helping them balance school and sports, and making them turn in weekly grade checks. The main solution to this problem could be tutoring. Tutoring is a great place for students to go and get individual help for anything that they need. Tutoring will not only help these students make good grades, but it will also help them learn the study habits needed in order to be successful in the sport and in their education. An example is during his freshman season, he met weekly with 4 tutors, one for each of his classes. He also met with a learning specialist who composed action plans to organize his schedule and help him plan for tests and papers. This is a great example of a student who was willing to do anything to make his grades as best as he could. When students go for extra help, it also shows the teacher that the student cares about their grade, and the teacher will work with that student more in order to help them do better. By doing this, you could be taking great opportunity for that kid away from them. For example, if the kid has scholarship offers from colleges and he makes bad grades and cannot play during high school, that was an opportunity taken away from that kid. One thing that I've seen over the years in order for a coach to keep a student's grades in line is weekly grade check sheets. These are a great way to keep students from digging themselves into a deep hole. Being an athlete myself, I've had to do many grade checks, and I feel that these are so good because if you're struggling, that coach can see that early and he can get you the necessary help that you need in order to be successful. I currently have to do grade checks by playing baseball at FSCJ, and because of these, there are not many people on the team who fail classes. Mainly because if coach sees early that we are struggling, he will send us to a tutor to help get our grades right. I feel that overall these grade checks are the best way to keep students' grades up, without putting such a hard restriction on them. If he sees that we are struggling, he will tell us to get help from the teacher, and if that does not help, to go see a tutor in the library. One thing that my coach will tell us is that academics comes first, and you must do whatever you have to do in order to get that done before anything. Even if students get a scholarship opportunity for a sport, they still have to meet the grade requirements. This is important because at some point these kids will have to make the grades. In conclusion, putting the restriction on students that they must maintain honor roll level grades would not only be unfair to some athletes, but it would also be a tough lifestyle for some student athletes. 2 people can put in just as much work in the classroom, but one can receive an A and the other a D. Throughout writing this paper, a lot of research is saying that students should not have to maintain honor roll level grades, but they must show that they are working their hardest to try to make the good grades. I've found 3 things that can be done instead of applying this tough rule on student athletes. They are going to visit a tutor, letting someone teach them the balance of a sport and school, and for coaches to give weekly grade checks. All 3 of these are great ways to keep students' grades high, and if the student does all these and puts in the work, there's a great chance that they will have success in the classroom. Therefore, there should be no reason why this rule should be put into effect.